Okay, so when we are working with this topic on Newton's laws, what you realize is you work with forces acting on different objects. But now, normally we use two directions, the x-axis and the y-axis. But there are some forces which do not act along these lines, the x-axis and the y-axis. So what do we do? Like this force of 50 newtons and there is another force of 50 newtons. Look at their directions. They are not aligned to the x-axis and the y-axis, but we can do what we call resolving a force, trying to align them along this. So this force has got a component which acts along this line and another component which acts along this line. So how do we resolve a force? You just draw lines along the x-axis and along the y-axis following the force. So when we resolve a force, we look at the angle. This line closer to the angle, which is on the x-axis, we call it fx, but we're going to call it 50 cos. This component will be 50 cos because it's in line with, it's attached to the angle. This one, which is opposite, we're going to say 50 sine. So that's how we resolve a force. Let's look at this 50 newtons force, which is acting going downwards like this. I want to resolve it so that I find the components aligned to the x-axis and the y-axis. So I draw these components following the force. This is going down, which is vertically downwards. Then this other one is going in this direction, which is the horizontal direction. So this one is opposite to 30. So that's why I'm saying f sine 30. But it's attached to 60. So we can also call it f cos 60. So this is another way of resolving your force. You can just draw the components like this, fx and fy. Look at this one again. I can draw these components outside. This is the vertical component and this is the horizontal component. So this one remains f cos 30. So this is how we resolve a force. Where do we apply this? When I ask you to calculate a resultant on this body, so I need to calculate the resultant force. Which forces are acting there? Which is 50, 80, and 40. So what we do now, we need to resolve these forces. We find the components in this direction. So look at how I resolved the forces, the 50 newton force, the horizontal component, the vertical component. Look at the vertical component. I said 50 cos 20 because it's in touch with this angle. So it's 50 cos 20. Then the horizontal component, it's 50 sine because it's not in touch with that angle. Then after resolving the force, we now add the components along x for each force, the components along y for each force. Then we add, we find the resultant along x and resultant along y. Then we apply our Pythagoras theorem. So this is our fx. Look, it's positive. So it's 22 this side, then 76 this side. Then we use Pythagoras theorem. So our resultant is always at the center. So we apply our result. The direction of the resultant is given as tan theta fy over fx. Then we find that angle. Then we say from 0 degrees. So this is how we resolve forces. This is just a general overview on how we resolve forces. Thank you.